Now look at this. This is the point. Here is the edge of the rainbow. Now, if you took that rainbow fully, that's how big it is. And that's how wide the camera was. Can you see that? If you go somewhere and want to look through a video camera all the time, in some ways you don't see it. You know what I mean? It's what you're cutting off. You're cutting off too much. I think that's why I would attempt to paint the Grand Canyon. That's why it's a marvelous subject, even though it's a kind of forbidden subject. I mean, because you have to find a way to do it that the camera cannot do very well, that only the human imagination and perception can devise a way, a new way to do it. I first went to the Grand Canyon in 1964. I went down it on a mule. But when I was experimenting with photography, I rushed to the Grand Canyon because, in a sense, it's a place without perspective and unphotographable in a way. I always thought it was, no photographs had ever seemed to me shown the spatial thrill that you get when you stand on the edge and look into it. The moment I started with photography, I realized its connections with perspective. I realized the camera is forced to be just a perfect perspective picture, that's what it is. And you could break this by collage. And collage is, of course, a cubist idea, a profound idea, actually. When you put one piece of paper on top of another, in a sense, you put two pieces of time together, therefore make a space, actually, collage itself. And a photo collage, I thought first I'm adding time, then you realize you're making space, then you realize time and space are the same thing. They're just snaps. I lit nothing. I mean, the only thing I prepared was thought, in a sense. And then you snap away. I don't want to alter any image. In fact, I don't want to trim any image down because it would begin to look tricky. And it does not look tricky if you just honestly put them all down in some way. The picture in French Vogue that was of the Place Fürstenberg was the first of the elaborate photographs where I was not stood in one point. I was actually moving all over to do it. It was a development that I realized led to something a bit new, and you could develop it, but it wasn't that easy in your head to do it. You had to start constructing the pictures before you'd finished taking them all, because they're too complicated to know. You couldn't keep it in your head.